to Conversations. Those of you who haven't been for a while or are new to it, I'm really pleased that you joined. It's a perfect evening to be sitting in the kitchen, having the most amazing guest, Vanessa Holiday, who is an astrologer, a coach, and a sound therapist. Vanessa has such an amazing story. Some of you know her, and how she started her whole sound journey just personally, and where she's come to today. So Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us. So looking forward to this evening, so thank you.
Thank you, Elaine, and thank you so much for hosting me, and thank you to each and every single one of you that have come to join the Conversations in the Kitchen. And I'm sure we can all relate to sound and music. I'm sure we all like to have a good boogie and dance, and there's nothing better than listening to music and the effects of music that has on our bodies. We know that, if we're having a really terrible day, we can just put on a great track and tune and we can immediately feel lifted and elevated. And so, yeah, music is so universal. There's a beautiful quote that says, music is the universal language of mankind. And it really doesn't matter what race, religion, what background you come from. It's universal. We can all relate to sound and be moved by sound. And so tonight, I am going to share with you my personal story through my own evolution of sound. Some of you, as I know, Saul met me on the dance floor back in the days when I was a DJ. So I'm going to take you through that whole journey and transformation of where I started to where I am now. And it's truly been a really beautiful musical journey. Where I've come, my journey through sound has almost been a return back to the origin of sound, which is frequency, vibration, and resonance. But where I started was, being in the world of DJing and more a little bit of the unconscious scene, which I'll explore a little bit with all of you, but really coming back to the core of what music actually really is and the effects of it on our body to heal, transform, and awaken the human consciousness. And then I'm going to give you guys all a little bit of a share of the wisdom of actually how sound shapes our universe, how sound actually affects the human body as well. And I've got some images and some really cool videos to show you as well. So there'll be two parts. And then, yes, if you do have any questions, I know Elaine says to do them at the end, but when I get to the section about how sound shapes the world and the human body, if you do have a question that you want to ask while I'm speaking, I'm happy if you want to just unmute yourself, if that's cool with Elaine. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. You can just unmute yourself and then ask me. Alrighty, so and also it's amazing that every time I tell the story, it's always different because it's I actually just bring through and channel what is live and present within me now. So it's always different, and I always am feeding on the group dynamics and energy as well. So yeah, for me, my sound journey actually began, believe it or not, in my mother's womb. My mother always sang to me. I was always soothed by her voice. I had an alcoholic father who wasn't very present and had addictions. And so I think my mother sang to my brother and I to really soothe us at night and to just make us feel safe and secure. Until my parents got divorced when I was 6, turning 7. And really during that time, I really stepped into my masculine, where I became quite independent. And so really took on the masculine role of really being independent and really, really looking after myself and really losing a little bit of that inner child spirit. But what I did find at a very young age was that sound and music was my outlet to express. And my mother got remarried when I was 7. And my stepfather always played the guitar. My brother played the guitar. My cousins were always in music. So I always had music surrounding my life, and I was inspired by music and dance at a very young age. And through these years as well, my parents always used to take us to the game farms, and I was always being in nature and listening to the sounds of the birds and animals and playing in the dirt and really just being really in touch with like nature sounds. So I've always felt like I've always had this, have had sound, or receptive to sound, and really listening very deeply, even to nature sounds as well, being very called by sound. And before I even got to matric, I discovered the art of DJing. And that's when I learned the first instrument that I actually pretty much learned. I call DJing an instrument because it is an instrument. You can use records to create sound on the dance floor. So that was what I used, was records. Also, I remember at a young age as well, playing through my dad's stepfather's vinyls, like all the 60s and 70s, and putting it onto the old record player. And just like, I could do that for hours. And so I remember practicing for about a year how to, and it's really an art form, how to get those two beats. You know, you're really using your left and right hemispheres of the brain, and really having to really deeply listen so that you get those two beats on. And I remember the day that I got it on, like, I was like, oh my God, finally. It's like trying to ride a bicycle and you eventually get it going. So it didn't take me long. I don't know if some of you might know H2O. It was a big water park festival in Johannesburg. They would have like 15,000 people. It was the festival to go to. And I was very fortunate to know the owner quite well. And he said to me, Vanessa, would you like to have a set? He literally gave me the 11 till 1 o'clock set on New Year's Eve. I was like, oh my God, seriously? You're giving me the main set? And I used to play trance. Back then, I started trance music, loved all the progressive trance. Back those days, it was rave music. And so also I dabbled in all sorts of experimental enhancers, let's just say that. It was a beautiful, beautiful journey of being able to play to masses of groups of people, and just seeing the effects of music and how it unites people together and uplifts people. And I was seeing this energy being played out, where, wow, I can actually really create a mood on the dance floor through music, and how it really connects and unites people. And so I DJ'd for many years. I was able to travel all over Africa. I went to visit Namibia, Botswana, Kenya, really playing at these really big festivals. I was able to also play in India, in the UK, in London at the Cross, the Egg, these really big super clubs. And where else did I play? Ibiza. So pretty much got to travel the world and play and actually make money at the same time. It was really, really great. And then I was also exposed to a lot of what goes with this industry of, high rollers with quite a lot of money, and really exposed to also the darkness of the scene, which comes with like lots of drugs and very late nights, not very healthy You know, I was whisked away to on a private jet plane to Namibia of a group of businessmen who were going on business. I'll leave the rest to your imagination, what went on there. Little did I know that I arrived and it was a swingers party. So I was like, holy mother. And I remember playing, everyone was just, you know, all about and really listening to the music. And then literally after an hour, everyone was in different rooms and I was literally playing to a dance floor of absolutely no one. So I was like, oh, well, this is great. I'm just going to go and eat all the food. So I got and ate all the lint balls and food and snacked on the couches. But I remember that day where I was like, really, is this really what the space that I really want to be in? You know, it's, yes, the money's really good, but I don't know, I'm feeling like I'm not really resonating deeply with the space, with the people, and with the music anymore. And so this is where I still continued, but I was really coming to a point in my life where I was really getting depressed. And really, it came to a point where I pretty much I sometimes would not even find the life force energy to even be happy about life. I was really, really miserable and really depressed. And I really hit rock bottom. So, you know, I was running a lot in my masculine, being in an industry that is also very masculine orientated, being a woman, being really pressurized to drink, to, you know, the club owners, you know, would be, come on, having another tequila, and really being pressurized. And as well, yeah, you know, when you're in an industry like that I was in, also the female body is used probably in ways that I probably, if I look back now, I'd go, not really what I would like to see on a flyer. So, you know, the club owners would always want to put myself in a bikini on a flyer, you know, always showing the body and the skin. And so, yeah, after a while, it's just like, this does not feel right, doesn't feel in resonance with who I actually really am and who I am becoming. And so I really lost the inspiration for music. And I decided then, because I was so disconnected from my body, health issues, that I knew that I had to make a change. I remember that day where I was literally flooding with tears, and I was like, please, I really need a miracle. I need to know what I need to do, because I'm so not happy. I cannot spend another day in this turmoil of depression. And so I remember one of my music teachers, I was walking to work the one day, and one of my music teachers was hosting a retreat where they were going to be using plant medicine. And it was a San Pedro retreat using plant medicine. And he said it was really life-changing and transformative, and that he really, you know, he personally had a lot of like breakthroughs through using plant medicine. And I thought, well, what the heck, you know, I might as well go and try. You know, I'm at my wit's end. And so I went to this retreat, and I was completely blown open by the experience. I cried and cried, because I had never really felt a connection with myself as I did during that retreat, and how far from myself I had come, and how I was living almost a lie, because I was so, you know, living to other people's perception of myself, and being so influenced that I had lost myself. And I had discovered this through the plant medicine retreat. And from there, I decided, and that's really when I dived into a lot of spiritual work. And I was invited to go to a Vipassana meditation retreat. And Vipassana meditation is where you go and sit in silence for 10 days. And again, somebody coming from being so exposed to music and sensory overload, and going to journey inwards and be in complete silence, no music, just really listening to the sounds of what's happening internally, was also a very, very challenging experience, but also completely transformative. And again, through that Vipassana training, I really came back to sound. I was like, wow, I'm yearning actually to connect with sound again, that I love so passionately. But I need to find a new way to express that, because the frequency of which I was operating from was in disharmony, it was distorted, and I needed to find a new way of how to express the sound that I so was longing for. And this took me on a journey of, straight after Vipassana, I started researching and just reading how sound is vibration, frequency, and really diving a lot deeper into how sound shapes the world, our bodies. And so I found the works of Rudolf Steiner. I don't know if some of you have heard of the works of Rudolf Steiner. Some of you may know the Waldorf schools, the Waldorf school in Constantia. And I went to go and study anthroposophy, which is the philosophy of Rudolf Steiner and his ways of teaching. And again, I was inspired by life. I really found a reason to get up in the morning, because I was so inspired by his teachings and his way of life. And this is where I studied for 5 years. And I studied the effects of music and sound on the human body as a way to elevate and to heal the body. So what I was studying was what we call eurythmy, which is a movement art, dance. And I was able to really understand sound on a much more deeper level, and looking at the whole body as an instrument. And so I'll be sharing some of those teachings, what I learned in the second part. So that was my Rudolf Steiner training. And after 5 years of studying, I then started actually creating sound journeys at Hot Dog Yoga Studio, where Elaine teaches yoga, and that's where I met her. Yeah. And that was, the Hot Dog Yoga Studio was the first place where I actually did my first sound healing journey, where I used my gongs and bowls and Tibetan bowls. And I was actually blown away that we literally couldn't fit another soul in the bedroom. I did not in the room. I did not expect it to be a sellout. I expected just maybe of like 5 people. So I was like, okay, I must be onto something here. And so I just did once a month full moon journeys at Hot Dog Yoga Studio, in a few places here and there, but wasn't fully immersed in the sound yet. But after my 5-year training of anthroposophy, I decided to gift myself a sabbatical and to go and visit Bali. I actually had a few offers. I was actually offered to move to Australia to go and work at the anthroposophical Waldorf school in Australia. But I was really feeling the call to go to Bali, and I'm so grateful that I followed that call. And so at the time, it was quite a big journey, because I had to give away my beautiful cat Sphinx, which was really challenging for me, to be able to have to give my cat away and give up my apartment, sell everything. And at the time as well, my relationship was also not going so well. So also really that was coming to a closure and an end as well. And so got into a plane. I was only planning to go to Bali for 3 months, which landed up being 2 years. So landed on the island, and immediately there was a complete like exhale. Like I felt a complete surrender of like, I felt like I had arrived. It really did. When they say Bali is the island of the gods and goddesses, trust me, it's such a beautiful spiritual island. The culture, the way that they just do offerings to Mother Earth and the blessings, the energy is very, very potent. And I literally landed in the arms of Mother Bali. I literally say she really just took me in. And they say Bali, if you visit, it either spits you out or she takes you in. And I was very fortunate that she really took me into her loving grace. And within 2 weeks that I was there, I went to go and visit these beautiful sound chambers. They are in pyramids. There's 3 big, massive pyramids on this property, and they are dedicated to sound. And it is any sound healer's dream to work in these pyramids because they are acoustic. They work on sacred geometry. All the instruments are there. You don't need to cart or carry any instruments. You just need to arrive. And so I went to go and have a sound journey at these pyramids. And I have never experienced something like that in my entire life. I was like, where did I go? And I wasn't even on any plant medicine. It was just pure sound. And I came out of there and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it is my dream to make some pyramids here in Cape Town, or if it's not pyramids, a geodesic dome of some sort here, so that I can really create sound here on my home country. And so as I was walking out, I bumped into the owner, Peter, and we just ended up having a conversation. And I was just like, wow, this is absolutely incredible that what you've created here. I've never experienced anything like this. And I shared about my musical journey of coming through DJing and sound healing. And he said to me, well, you've just come at the right time, the right place, because we are looking for a sound practitioner. And if you're interested, I'm really feeling a resonance. So why don't you start tomorrow? And I was like, what? Tomorrow? What? Are you hiring me on the spot like this? He's like, yes. And I mean, for me, that was just, something so bizarre, because normally you go and have an interview. But no, I was just hired on the spot. So I said, sure, of course, this sounds like a wonderful opportunity. And I remember I got home and I called my partner at the time, and I shared with him that I've just landed this amazing offer, and I don't think I am coming back to Cape Town. And I knew he was not the one when he was not supporting me, and he was like, well, what do you want to do in Bali? I mean, sound, I mean, are there even enough people to do that? And immediately I knew, okay, this is not going to be the partnership that I wish to carry on in the future. And so we did, a few weeks later, we ended that, and I joined the pyramids, and I created sound in there for 2 years. And wow, it was absolutely incredible to see the amount of people coming to the pyramids and having really transformative experiences where, where I was able to actually see very visceral the effects and power of sound. And just completely blown away. And this is where I really discovered my voice. So I wasn't using my voice at all. I was really just using the instruments, playing the flutes, gongs, crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, drumming. and not really using my voice. But this is where I really discovered my voice through chanting and channeling. And for those of you who have listened to some of my work, you know, I get people saying, no, you would never say that you've never had any formal training of singing. And I said, no, I just discovered the voice through play, through going inwards, and just really finding my voice through play and experimental play. And yeah, I was very blessed to be exposed to a lot of gong masters and a lot of other sound practitioners who were really wonderful teachers to enhancing my own skills as a sound practitioner. And yeah, I mean, some of the instruments that I also got to play around with was the frequency beds, and these are absolutely incredible water beds. And then what we do is we have speakers that feed through the frequencies and the sounds through the water, and then you lay on top of the bed, and then we have on top of you will be the what we call the frequency lights. They're called them the ajna lights. And these ajna lights stimulate, you're closing your eyes, they stimulate your pineal gland and actually release the chemical DMT, which is also found in, DMT is also found in certain plants. But this is natural DMT that's released through light therapy. And you can visually see geometric shapes. Quite a wild experience to experience, and people were completely blown away. They called it LSV, which was light, sound, vibration, similar to LSD. It was pretty much a similar experience that you would feel. Some people it would be very stimulating for them, but truly this is what I really loved, because it was using frequency and light and sound in a very innovative, I would say, like we're in the age of Aquarius, very Aquarian, innovative way. And it was very, very popular. I mean, we would often have about 70 people in these sound pyramids at a time, 70 people delivering sound. And then just the response of people. I would have people in buckets of tears because they've had an emotional release, people connecting with past loved ones, people having creative inspiration and ideas that came through to them, people having shifts through the physical body of you know, ailments being released from the body. And so it was really powerful to see the power of sound on people in that big capacity. So yeah, that was my Bali experience. I was also able to work a lot on my womb, as I was so disconnected from my womb. I was on contraception for many years. That was actually a contributing factor to really creating an imbalance of my feminine hormones. Also running in my masculine overdrive, also constituted to my burnout and depression. And I dived into a lot of womb work, and I was like, what is this womb work that was happening in Bali? And it was absolutely profound. I really was shocked at some of the things that I even went to go try out. But, you know, really getting in touch with sacred sexuality and sensuality and the feminine energy, also exploring with sound, how sound can also activate and open up the womb. So I did a lot of womb work, and it was really, really liberating. And so in March, I got a call from Ilana, who does Spirit Fest. And she asked me if I'd like to come and participate here in Cape Town. And I thought, oh, well, it might be a good idea to come and visit my family again and come and see everybody. And I had also met a beautiful, loving partner who I met in the pyramids. I always kind of felt that I would meet someone at work. So I really met my soulmate, and he came traveling with me in March. And I said, let's do this trip together. Come and see Africa, South Africa. He's Canadian. He's also a musician and also loves sound and also works with frequency. So yeah, I really met my match, and so we actually create a lot of sound experiences together as well. So got on a plane and came to South Africa. I'm sure you all know that, like, we were like, oh, what's COVID? Like, you know, none of us were really clued in. The rest of the world were, but you know, South Africa always gets things a little bit later. And so after Spirit Fest, shortly after, we went into our first lockdown, and I was in buckets of tears because my whole world had done a 360. I was going back to Bali in April, and I was like, in a space of 24 hours, lost my job. Lost my job, lost income. And I was like, what am I going to do now? What honestly am I going to do now? Thank goodness I had some funds to support me for 1 or 2 months, but that was it. And yeah, I mean, COVID really was also a transformational journey, because again, I had to slow down, right? And for me, slowing down is not something that I'm used to. And so I really had to go inwards and to decide, what am I going to do next? Because I haven't been home in South Africa for 2 years. I haven't made, kind of lost my connections. And what am I going to do? So COVID really pushed me to be innovative. And I find that life always pushes me to be innovative, to create something new. And so I decided that, oh, well, this is the opportunity for me to start an online business. And that was also challenging, because being on my phone and being on my computer is, when I enjoy being physically with people and physically having people come. Remember, I'd been surrounded by 70 people coming to a sound journey, to like now having to do this online, and so it was quite challenging, but I do also love a bit of a challenge. And so in 1 month I put a sound workshop together where I came to share the wisdom of sound through a sound course, and to help people use their voices and sound to get through these challenging times. And I started off with 5 people, and my latest course now has 16 people. So it's gradually increased, and it's really, really wonderful. I've also started doing sound journeys online. Again, very different, because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to sound, and being in the pyramids where you're physically there with all the instruments, to now, how am I going to get that quality of sound through all this technology? So I literally took 6 months, and I researched and I read and I researched and I read, and I literally bought so many devices that I was trying out, spent quite a bit of money, but thank goodness I was able to return them, to how am I going to deliver the sound frequencies in the highest quality. Figured it out, got the right equipment, and launched my first online sound meditation, where all you need is a good pair of quality headphones, and you just sit back and you relax and you receive. And they're phenomenal. So When I first started, I was amazed at the response. I had 150 people sign up to my partner and I, which we are now getting like 500 people join these live sound journeys. And what I have to say about the online world is it's incredible because it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can actually plug in and you can actually have a much further reach. And so, my love for online has been growing day by day. And so, I've success. I can say confidently that I've successfully created an online business doing sound, and it has been so liberating and so healing. And I think it was exactly the medicine that I needed. That Vanessa, you can start from scratch. You can start with zero in your bank account. You can recreate yourself, you can be innovative, and it doesn't matter what age that you do this. So that was very empowering. And through all of this womb work as well, I decided to come off all contraception last year, September. And woo, yay, I feel like I'm, yes, I feel like I'm, connecting again with my feminine cycle and balancing out my hormones and just really getting back to my organic, natural self. Oh, yeah, so good, so good. And it was so good that in September, I came off my contraception. In October, I fell pregnant. Woo! Yay! And then, unfortunately, I had a miscarriage in December. That was also quite a transformative journey. But it truly was, my body was still trying to come back into harmony and into balance. And, that was definitely something really hard for me because it was experiencing a death where it could have been the potential of when you lose that potential of having something and then it's gone, it can be very quite painful. And so that journey was also quite transformative. And after that journey, I was so inspired through this little being that came through to work with the womb. And so I started to put womb activations together for other women who had gone through similar experiences, not just loss of not just loss of miscarriage, but sexual traumas of the womb, suppression of the womb, not being able to connect, women that actually are needing to also disconnected from their sensuality and from their sexuality, because women are multi-orgasmic, right? We are sensual beings, and to really come into contact with that again. So I started to create these womb activations for women, which have been so healing and so transformative, and just the response that I've seen from women have been incredible. And because I threw myself into work again, when I have quite an experience that kind of shakes me, I go, okay, well, I need to channel this energy and I'm going to put it into music or sound. And this was the outlet. And through the healing of sound and working with the womb again, guess what? Fell pregnant in March. Woo! Yay. And so I am now 5 months pregnant. And
I have to just say, like, 3 miscarriages, got 2 beautiful children, like that is just
I know, thank you, Soul.
like we had 2 before for our first child, like it's just, and it does mold you and makes you, But music, I'll
does.
tell you a story.
Yes, so I must say, like, I was amazed. So it's amazing how a lot of women actually don't share their miscarriage stories. It's not something that's really spoken about openly. And from someone who's always shied away from her voice, I really felt called to really step in my power and to really use my platforms that I have to really share this experience. And I was amazed at the amount of support that I received from women saying, me too, me too, me too, me too. And it's like, was incredible to see that actually 1 in 4 women actually have miscarriages. So
sorry, Vanessa, I've got a very big medical aid practice. And when we had miscarriages, like the second one, I took off 3 months of work. And when I started asking my clients, and every third woman had one, I realized that, like, and it's another frequency as well. It's like, but we can talk about that another time. But it's real, and it eventually inspires you because you realize the fragility and the beauty of life. I'll stop there.
Yes, just how fragile life is. Beautiful soul. Thank you. But how incredible that I didn't know this. I didn't know that 1 in 3, 1 in 4 women have a miscarriage. And I was really empowered by sharing that story on my Instagram, and just the amount of support that I got from community. And I was like, wow, I actually am so supported. And just to have other women reflect that back to me and to be there as support was really healing in itself as well. So and I really feel that through feeding myself with the right sound frequencies and working with the womb intentionally, that I really came to heal myself again through sound, through music. And now this beautiful little being in my belly, I really feel that this is a sound baby that has come through and so divine. And so, yeah, that's been my journey. And this is where I am right here now, right now. And I look forward to seeing how the rest of my journey unfolds. But what me and my partner have on our vision board is we really do want to create these beautiful sound resonant chambers. Either geodesic domes or a pyramid, where we can have people come and do a retreat and come and receive sound healing and sound therapies, utilizing their voice. So that is our dream, and to create a community as well. So we really want to have a beautiful piece of land where we can really bring organic, natural nature principles back to society. So that's our dream, and that's what we're bringing in. And that's pretty much my story so far. And it's really been, it's been a really beautiful journey. And as I said, I've come back to the origin of sound. So it's like I've always had this beautiful golden thread, which has always been sound. And even when I lost my way, I came back to sound. So that's my beautiful story. And if you have any questions, otherwise I want to share with you the wisdom of sound and how actually sound affects our bodies and nature. So if you have any questions on my personal journey, I invite you to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to dive straight into sound. And just by the way, I still like to get onto the dance floor, whether it's my own dance floor in my living room.
Vanessa, I just want to ask you, because obviously I know you as that person. This has been like an amazing experience for me. Like the whole Bali thing, your partner, your miscarriages. It's very human, it's very real and everything. But I always describe when I put my headphones on and listen to the music that the frequency works for me is it shuts out the white noise of thoughts. And you being a practitioner or whatever, like people used to say to me, the white noise, like there's always, but sometimes you just want to listen to music or a sound that just takes you away. Like some people will lock themselves in a room or whatever. Just shut yourself, it like takes your mind, your frequency. And the frequency thing is very important because I've loved music since I was a kid. My dad's got 700 vinyls. They're in plastic. You know, who's going to get them when they pass away? It's like part of their legacy. But like, is it true that when you find a frequency that reacts with your body, that you can actually just leave where you are and just go to a place that's free and it doesn't have to be it can be just in your ears?
Yes. So like I say, for me, music is an escape, but a really good escape, right?
Yes. It can't hurt you.
No.
Except your ears if you play it too loud, maybe.
Exactly. But music has the power to invoke certain emotions through us, it might even invoke images of or experiences from our past.
Right.
And it has the ability to, I use the word transcendental because it can create elevation, you know, where we actually go into the field of oneness with the divine, with the creator. We're going on a holiday.
So there's Vanessa Holiday.
Yeah.
so there's no other human. It's not a human thing. It's almost a celestial thing where you just lose yourself within yourself, and you actually just have your brain. And it's not, yeah.
I mean, you even transcend the brain as well. I mean, where, you know, like you can transcend the physical body, where you just come into sound. I mean, I've been in sound journeys in the pyramids where, you know, I go into it's what we call deep states of theta. Yeah. And you can go into that dreamlike state where, you know, you don't have the fullness of your consciousness. And then you can travel anywhere. You know, what they call it, traveling the astral world, or traveling into the dream space.
So I have to just ask you something, and I'm not going to dominate this, but I've got a really good sound system in my car, and sometimes I leave home and close the garage and I put on some nice music, and the next thing I arrive at my destination and I've stopped at all the robots or whatever, and I've got to safely. But all I remember is the sound that encompassed my journey. Is that normal, or is it like, so you can you just get there?
Yes.
So the in between doesn't matter, but the oral or like the sounds you hear, 20 minutes later you're at your destination. You can't remember each step of the way, but you remember the sound.
Yes.
Is that something, the frequency just resonated?
Yes, so that's the sounds putting you into deep theta, into what we call like the unconscious mind. And when you the unconscious mind is also like autopilot, where you're not needing to be in the conscious mind to think I need to turn, you know, left, right.
But you put your indicator, you put your indicator on, you're doing everything right, but there's a block of what you could have seen, but you got this, but you remember the tune that was playing, or even a radio station that you're listening to, and you're listening to somebody phoning in on 567 or whatever. But it's so engrossing audio, like, so that's normal, right?
Okay. Yes, you've become the sound, you know, you're fully immersed in it, that where you know, you're it's like when you're tapping into the intuitive part of your body, where you're not needing to
Thank
actually
you.
consciously think. Yeah.
Happens often when you choose the right frequency.
Aha. Yes, and you know when you're on the wrong frequency.
Yeah, no. If you know your frequency, you don't. It's almost like you know who you like and who you don't when you get to close to 50. Like just move
Yes.
on. Less is more.
I like to say this. It's not personal, it's vibrational.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, you know, there are some things in life that we're going to resonate with, that we're going to be in harmony with, and there's some things, some people that we may not be in harmony with. And yeah, it's not personal, it's vibrational.
Exactly.
Because your particular vibration emits a certain frequency to resonate with somebody else. And so, yeah, what I wanted to share around the wisdom of sound is that one of the hermetic principles, the natural laws, is that everything is in a state of vibration. It's science. So everything in our entire existence is vibrating, moving, and therefore it's creating a sound, even if we can't actually hear it. Because our human ears only have a limited auditory range in which we can hear. We know that dolphins, they have absolutely exceptional hearing. They're able to hear the much higher tones in their sounds. Elephants are profound. They have the very low bass tones, and they can hear when there's danger underneath the ground. And so animals have a much wider range of sound, of hearing. And so everything is vibrating, therefore everything has a sound. So our ancient cultures knew that sound was the medicine of the future. Edgar Cayce, his quote says, "Sound will be the medicine of the future." And I actually say the ancient cultures actually knew that sound was a medicine of the past and is going to be a medicine of the future. So our ancient cultures, in a lot of their mythology stories, they actually spoke that the whole of creation came through sound. If we look at the Aborigines in Australia, they sang the whole of creation through the didgeridoo, that hollow wooden trunk instrument. The Egyptians, god Thoth, he spoke the whole of the world into creation. Even if we look at Genesis, the Bible, the opening line of Genesis says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God." And that word is, what is the word? It's frequency, that's vibration. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So everything came through sound. And so the human being, our entire body is sound. And we are actually made up of approximately 80% water. And sound travels far more effectively and efficiently through the medium of water than in any other elements, such as air. And therefore, when we come into contact with healing frequencies, or these beautiful sound healing instruments, and we're going to be speaking about our very own voices, right? That is medicine. It's vibrational medicine. And it creates opening up of the energetic pathways in the body, and to bring the body into deeper states of balance and harmony. So sound is extremely powerful. And I wanted to show you some images, but firstly, I wanted to speak about resonance, and then I'll chat about entrainment. So with resonance, every everything in the universe vibrates, and everything in the universe has its own prime resonant frequency. So it's frequency in which it naturally vibrates at. So the grass will have its own frequency. A rose will have its own frequency. A sunflower will have its own frequency. And that's what makes it a sunflower or a rose. And if we have to look at the human body, you also have your own prime resonant frequency in which you vibrate at. So I like to look at the entire human body as an instrument, and every single organ is playing a different instrument. So say the heart is playing the violin, and your liver is playing the guitar, and everything is in harmony. This is when you are in balance, you're in good optimal health. And then what happens, say your liver, it loses its sheet music, and now your liver is like, oh shit, where is my sheet music? I can't find it. And now your liver is playing out of tune. Right? It's disharmonious. And this is what allopathic medicine's approach is. They will say you are sick, your liver is disease, it's not functioning, and we need to either cut your liver out and give you a new one, or we're going to give you medications that is going to suppress or numb. And I'm not against allopathic medicine. I think the Western approach to medicine has its place, but I personally feel that we have overused allopathic medicines, and sometimes we don't go the approach of more of a vibrational approach, vibrational medicine. And what if we were to give the liver back its sheet music? So here we go, liver, here's your sheet music. And so the liver comes back into resonance and harmony. And that is what we call frequency shifting, right? We're shifting that particular organ into its natural resonance again. And there are various instruments out there that can be used for frequency shifting. One of the instruments is called the Rife resonator, and I'm not sure if some of you have heard about it. Elaine's saying yes, she's heard about it. And the Rife resonator was established by Royal Rife. And it's a machine that creates electromagnetic impulses. And he was fascinated with viruses, and particularly his research was done in, yes, I have one here. Ooh, Heidi, nice, cool. Heidi's going to let us know a little bit more about the Rife machine. So yes, so he was able to the frequency of the cancer cell and to shatter this cancer cell. And so he's done many, I can't remember how many patients he's worked on, but they found the cure to cancer through vibrational frequency shifting. And it's incredible because our pharmaceutical companies spend, I think it's 150 billion is spent on cancer treatments, but yet we actually have the cure, right? And how much would a cure be? So it's we won't get into too much into the pharmaceutical companies. We'll leave that for another day. But yeah, it just makes you wonder and think. But there are these machines, and Heidi's actually got one. I think I need to come and see Heidi for a session. But absolutely incredible machines, and that's through resonance and entrainment. So giving back you're either able to destroy a cell, or you're able to give back that organ its prime resonant frequency through vibrational medicine. And this is why I strongly believe that sound will be the medicine of the future. And so with entrainment in sound, so entrainment is when one object can offset another object to vibrate. And through entrainment, it's very powerful. This is where I use personally in my sound journeys, I use brainwave entrainment frequencies, where I play with the different states of our brain to get us into theta, or deep states of delta. And these specific frequencies can entrain our brain because of entrainment, and allow our brains to drop into deep states of theta. And when we come into theta, we actually come into our system of rest and digest. They call this the parasympathetic nervous system. And when we're in this system, you can imagine like all of our cells open, we feel more expansive, more open, and this is where the sound can really come through and shift through any stuck blockages, emotions, stagnant energy that we have in our body. So that's the power of entrainment. And the reason why I also say to everyone is make sure that you are around people with high frequency and good vibes. Because somebody with a very high frequency is actually able to offset everyone else in the room as well to up level because of their frequency. And I've often been around people with, you know, very high frequencies, and immediately like you feel just relaxed in their space and calm. Immediately your parasympathetic nervous system switches on. So it's so vitally important to be around people that lift us, to be in environments that lift you as well. So that's entrainment. And I wanted to also show you the effects of sound with our intention. So the one person who really depicts this well is Dr. Emoto. And he shows how intention affects water. And he did an experiment where he was playing some violent music to water, and another experiment where he was playing beautiful music of classical music, and speaking words of love and kindness to the water. And the experiment shows that there were these most exquisite, beautiful crystals that formed when we spoke words of love and peace and unity, classical music. And the other side was water that really looks a bit more disformed. And that was when we speak words of hate, disgust, dislike, heavy metal music that's very disharmonious. And I'm going to show you an image of his work now. So here's the beautiful work of Dr. Emoto, this beautiful crystal that forms of thank you, wisdom, truth, eternity, peace, love. And then we come down to you make me sick, evil, polluted water before prayer. And this was the polluted water after prayer. So if it's quite powerful, because then we go, okay, so we're made up of 80% water. So your very own thoughts, what you say to yourself, what are you putting into your body has effect. You can clearly see this in this beautiful demonstration of water and sound. So I always say we need to be conscious and really mindful in terms of our thoughts, emotions, anything that we're putting into our body, because everything has a particular frequency, and that can come into contact with our internal environment, and it's going to have an effect. Now I want to share with, particularly with the ladies, the men who are on this call, please share this as well with all the women that you come across. But I want to speak about one of the most powerful instruments that every single one of us has that can evoke awakening, transformation, healing, balancing in the body, and that is the human voice. And we don't need to go out and buy this instrument. We were gifted with this beautiful instrument, so it's free. And the voice is so powerful, and I'll tell you why, is because each and every single one of you will create a different frequency, a different sound. So I can't mimic Elaine's voice. Elaine can't mimic me. We have our own frequency. We have our own blueprint, right? Which has its own resonance, its own timbre, its own sound. And that is vibrational medicine. And I personally feel that the collective, the greater collective, have still not come into integrating the power of our voices as vibrational medicine. You know, our ancient cultures knew about it, but we've been so far removed and disconnected from it. You know, like we look at our ancient cultures used to sing around the fireplace every single night. They used to sing in celebration if someone passed away, if someone gave birth, if a woman came into menstrual cycle, they would sing every single day. They used their voices. They knew about the power of the voice. The Egyptians those were sound chambers. They were not used for burial use, as the history books say. Those pyramids were sound chambers where the Egyptians would go in and they would chant and channel with vowel sounds to elevate their consciousness, and that's how they would speak with other celestial beings and other universes. And so it was a portal for communication between the earthly world and the heavenly world. And so when we come into, I believe that our voices will change the world when we fully step into them and we fully realize the power of them. And I'm going to share with all of you a simple technique that you can all use on the daily to really elevate your own musical instrument, your own body, for healing and balancing. And so the fascinating thing I want to share, and this goes out to all the ladies, is that our womb and our voices are deeply connected. Okay, so I'm going to show you an anatomical drawing of our womb and our voices. They're identical. So here's the vocal cords. Here's a cross section also of the vulva, the vocal cords, the pelvic floor muscles. Here's the larynx and the uterus, identical. And so the voice and the womb are connected. And I'm going to speak about the vagus nerve. So, and the men, you also have the vagus nerve, just letting you know. You just might not have this beautiful organ here. So the vagus nerve is what we call the wandering nerve, and it's a nerve that starts from the inside of our ear and it travels all the way down, works a lot with some of our vocal expression of sound, of speech, travels all the way down our throat, all the way down into our main organs of digestion. And guess what, ladies? It also goes, and men as well, it goes right down to the pelvic floor. For women, the cervix. So when you, and the vagus nerve is stimulated by sound, right? So when we start creating sound in the body, we are activating the vagus nerve, and then we're stimulating all those organs of digestion. And we are also stimulating in women our cervix, our uterus. And that center in our wombs is our creative life force energy, right? That's actually where we can either birth physical life, or we birth our vision or our dreams. And when we are open in our uterus, in our womb, we'll feel more creative energy. And then with that creative energy, you know, either you'll have the calling to want to procreate and to make a child, or either you'll want to channel that creative energy into a project or a business. And so it's vitally important that you are connected to your wombs and connected to that creative energy. And the interesting thing is, as I said, as the womb and the voice are connected. So if you're feeling tension in your jaw, you'll feel contraction in your womb area. And if you feel contraction in your womb area, you also feel contraction and restricted in your jaw as well. And so a powerful way to heal thy body is through making sounds. Making sounds. So the one exercise that anybody can do, because some people are like, oh, but I don't know how to make sound. I don't even think I'm good enough to make sound. And it's not how good you sound. It's how make sounds that feel good in your body. Make sounds that feel nourishing to your body. And so a simple exercise is to hum. I know the yogis, it's in one of the yogi pranayamas. Elaine, I think it's the bee breath, which is there's a specific name for it. Brahmayama breath.
Yes.
Yes, the Brahmayama breath. Yep. So humming. Okay, it's simple as humming. So and you just continue to hum for about 5 minutes and send your hum throughout your entire body.
So Vanessa, does whistling work?
Whistling is a sound for sure, and it will definitely make you feel good.
I whistle a lot lately in the last 19, 20 months.
Yeah, whistling's good. I mean, whistling's got more of a higher pitch sound. So it will definitely make you feel elevated and make you feel good. I mean, I say any sounds, but specifically the humming sound is a sound that is actually, when you create it, you'll actually start feeling, if you all want to just hum, you can actually feel the vibration and in your body. And then remember what I was speaking about with Dr. Emoto, who speaks about intention. So there's I call it the secret formula with sound. I read the books of Jonathan Goldman, and he says frequency plus intention equals healing or equals transformation. So the frequency would be your voice, or the frequency could be the instrument. But when you couple that and amplify that with intention, what we get is healing and transformation. So the intention could be humming with the frequency of your hum, and then the intention that is imbued with that frequency is peace, or it could be love, whatever your intention is. And so that brings the transformation. So that you will get the benefits of just humming with no intention. You'll get the benefits that will happen. Physically, your heart rate will begin to drop. You'll tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. But if you're wanting to really reach the deepest part of your cells, then bring the intention. And that's what Dr. Emoto speaks about in his works. So that is the power of the voice. And so ladies, you know, I really, and men as well, really just feel that connection with the womb and the voice. And as I said, the vagus nerve runs all the way down to the cervix. So creating the sound, the humming sound, also creating vowel sounds. You can create an ah, e, o, u. You can do the vowel sounds, which are also very healing and very therapeutic for creating more expansion and more alignment in the body. And then I wanted to share with you, because this is just a super awesome video on cymatics. And cymatics is where you can physically see how sound shapes physical matter. And again, because we are made up of 80% water, you can imagine if everything is frequency and everything is vibration, and that we're receiving it, this will have an effect on our internal environment. So this is just an awesome video that I absolutely love, that shows the effects of music and sound. And I'm going to play it for you all.
No characters. Spare a little of your imagination. This is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. Everything owes its existence solely, completely to sound.
Sorry. There we go. So that is pretty cool, right? That is cymatics, and because we can't see music, we can hear it, we can feel it, but we can't physically see it. And cymatics is a way to bring through the physical representation of sound on physical form. And I think that's just an incredible video, and I love it so much because I come from the world of DJing, and he's just really been able to bring through innovatively DJing and sound. And I've pretty much done something similar in my own work, where my performances that I do live sessions are live, and I incorporate some digital technology, actual sound frequencies. I work with, as I said, brainwave entrainment frequencies. So I work with the different states, so that when you come to my session, it's like taking your brain to the gym, right? Our bodies to the gym. We need to take our bodies to the gym to keep fit. And we need to expose ourselves to different brainwave frequencies to exercise the mind as well. Because a lot of us are in this like beta range frequency, and we need to get into this deeper states of theta. And so I bring different frequencies in my sound live sound shows. And then I also work with isochronic tones. And an isochronic tone is like a repetitive drum beat. And if you listen to drumming, not that it sounds like drumming, I'm just giving an example of how it works, because if we, you know, our ancient cultures, when they used to drum, they used to go into these altered states, because the repetition of rhythm of the drum gets you into entrainment. So you come into these like altered states and deep states of theta through rhythmic drumming. And so an isochronic tone is got something similar, but it doesn't sound like a drum beat. And so I work with various frequencies, whether I can work with the womb frequency, or say I want to work with the heart. So I really work with vibrational medicine. And just like when you go to a homeopathic doctor who will give you a specific remedy, that remedy has a certain resonance and frequency that works with your body. And so I work the same way with sound. So I actually will choose a specific frequency, either it's specialized for you, or it will be a specific frequency that I'm working on that everyone can use. You know, maybe it's for the voice, for the heart, maybe it's for relaxing the mind. And then also work with the planets. So the planets have these various different frequencies, and that's how I incorporate astrology into my sound as well. If we can get into a very whole philosophical music of the spheres, like where does music come from? And music of the spheres, which was I think it was Plato. Yeah, he spoke a lot about the music of the spheres and where music comes from, because music is not an earthly physical form. Like, you know, we need the physical instrument like a flute or the voice to create the sound, but the actual sound frequencies we can't physically see, and they do come from another world. You know, they really do come from these planets. I mean, Pythagoras was the one who created the monochord and worked out all the frequencies of the planets. And so that's why music is a very spiritual concept. It's created when you tap into that creative infinite energy, because it really does. It's otherworldly. That's what music is. It's otherworldly. It comes from another place, and these big cosmic planets really do bring through those different sounds and frequencies. So that's pretty much all. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I really wanted to share around sound. Yeah, and I've really been playing and exploring more with my voice as an instrument. And I will be releasing an album fairly soon, which will be working with the planets. And I get a lot of my inspiration for my voice work by spending time in nature. So I really like connect with the land, because our ancient cultures, you know, as I said, they sang, and there's meridian lines that run underneath earth. These are activation points. We know different places around the world are highly activating, you know, like Stonehenge. If you go to Glastonbury, we know that these places, Mount Shasta, there's these points. Cape Town is also one of them. There's these points, these energetic points, which are highly vibrationally charged, and so very, very therapeutic and really uplifting for the human being. And so I love to connect with nature and channel through sounds. So yeah, it's been a fun journey. So I think that's pretty much all that I have to share on sound and frequency and my journey. And it's just been so wonderful to be able to share the story. I actually don't get to share it that often. So I'm going to
I want to say thank you, Vanessa. It's been incredible, like absolutely incredible, because I think we discount all the sounds around us, and people don't even realize. I mean, I was fortunate enough to live on a farm for the whole of last year, where the bird sounds became my sounds. There were no people's voices or whatever. Like, I think when we realize that sound is part of our emotional journey, instead of taste, I think I mentioned before, taste, smell, sight, when you can acknowledge what sounds work for you, you can understand the frequency of your body. And yeah, still get told, but why are you listening to that type of music? Or why do you like that sound? It's because when you find something that resonates with you,
yes,
your endorphins, I think it's just, you can't, it's a natural feeling.
Yes, it's not something you have to think about.
Yeah, and funny enough, you know, you mentioned miscarriages, and we've had my kids, not because we like that kind of music, but when we play it, there's an upliftment together. Like it's not even genetic, it's just something, it's a resonance. So resonance and frequency become a very big part. And I'm in finance, so when I meet new people, something has to resonate. And it might not be music, but it is connected. It's the way they speak. And you said your voice is something that you are blessed with. And there are certain people that are not going to like that resonance, but find your resonance, find your frequency.
You've said it beautifully, Saul. Could not agree. You've really nailed it there. It's all resonance.
They see your face, and then the first thing is your voice.
Yeah,
I don't like my radio voice, but I think that it's not how you sound, it's what comes out, the frequency.
The frequency, and then plus the intention on top of that as well. People can feel. So you can feel when someone's speaking with genuine compassion. And
it comes from the heart. It comes from
from the heart.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, we try and teach our kids, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And unfortunately, as adults, we forgot that, you know, like,
Yes.
if you're going to say it nicely. Like, I don't want to be your friend, not you're an idiot, you know, like
Exactly.
we're just not meant to be friends, but it's all lost in frequency, or yeah, you get it. I've got it.
You got it. Awesome soul, lovely share, and thank you for joining. So lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Vanessa. I see Daphne sent a lovely message. She'd love to come and join you with your sound journey. So maybe you want to tell those of you that are still left, if you know, how to get hold of you, what you're offering lately or recently, and then, you know, perhaps I can put it into a WhatsApp for everybody, and they can get hold of you. I'll send one tomorrow, and you can just send me.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. I think maybe should I give you my email address and website, and everything is on there. You know, at the moment, I do quite a few things. So I either do one-on-one coaching, where I'm able to, either you're wanting more direction, wanting to deeply understand more of your purpose, and I work with astrology, so I'm able to have a look at your astrology charts and have a look at what's your soul's calling, and what's going to bring you your most joy. And we can see that in the charts. And I also work with different other coaching techniques to really get you onto that path of abundance and thriving. Then I also work with fertility. So if there's any women who are either struggling with fertility or wanting to fall pregnant, I do a lot of womb work as well. So if you've got any any ailments or complications with the womb, or you're just wanting to really just connect more deeply with your womb, I do that as well. And then obviously I do the live sound journeys, and my partner and I are actually doing one together, which is going to be over the equinox. I think it's the 23rd of September. But if you are interested, just pop me an email from Elaine, and I can add you onto the newsletter, and then I can mail you all. And I also do blog posts, and I write about very controversial topics. I really ruffle up the feathers.
I think, Vanessa, just because I know some people might want to, do you want to put your email address? I don't have everybody. I'm looking around. I have actually, I'm not sure, Kerry.
Sure.
I'll open it. So just her, yes, your email address, because Heidi wants to share, and then I will send all of you that are on my group. Anyone who isn't on my group, please just pop me a message, and I'll give you my WhatsApp number. I think most of you are though, and I'll send your details tomorrow, your website, your email. And then I wanted to open it up and ask if anybody wants to ask Vanessa any questions while we still have her in the kitchen. Any comments on tonight? It was such, I mean, for me, I loved the video that you showed, and just to see how the effect of sound and imagery, and as an artist, for me, that's just fascinating to see the music. It was just magnificent, really. Kind of left me speechless. It's kind of quite a feat seeing us speak a lot. Corinne also sent a lovely message. Great talk, Vanessa. Thank you. I'm humming to myself and am excited to use sound as a tool for self-healing.
Oh, amazing.
Kerry.
Thank you so much.
So pleased you joined, Saul. So pleased
Thank
this was
you,
good.
Vanessa. That was magical. Thank you, Lainey. That was incredible. Vanessa, very powerful, very special. Thank you.
Thank
for your
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you so much. Great talk.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining. It was an amazing, amazing evening. So, yeah, keep on tuning in and get hold of Vanessa when you want to. And yeah, thanks. It's so nice seeing all my friends here. So,
I just tried friending on Facebook, but she declined. I don't know if she declined me or she hasn't had time. Anyway. Love you guys. Good night. Sleep tight.
Good night.
Bye.
Sleep
Good
well. Bye,
night.
Saul.